guys, welcome to Outlaw Edge. So today I'm in the body shop. I'm jamming on the back panel of a car and trying to get it all finished up or whatever, block sanding it, and so I can get this damn thing out of the shop. Sick and tired of this thing. I got 2 cars in here that I want to get out of here, and been getting texts and everything else, so make the customer happy, get it the hell out of my life. That'd make me happy. So that's what we're working on right now. But I'll show you what I'm doing. I'll flip the camera around and show you the panel that I'm working on and show you what's going on here. So this is a back hatch that flips down, and well, you know what I'll do is I'll dust it off real quick. Let me show you something else real quick though. So I had a viewer a while back that was like, I thought you guys only use Lucky Blocks. Well, we do. That's all we use, but we use those after we use our other blocks to knock everything down. And when we're doing the finishing stage, that's when we start using the Lucky Blocks. If you guys haven't used these are kick-ass right here. Do I have any? Let's see. Give me 1 second. What I'll do is I'll show you what they're made out of. They're acrylic blocks. And see, we use the Durablocks first to knock everything down when it's in primer. And then after everything's ready, real close for paint, almost ready for sealer, we use our Lucky Blocks. And these are acrylic, and you can see how long these things are. And then he makes them real tiny like this, and then really tiny. There's some little micro ones in here somewhere. And the cool part is like even our little tiny skinny ones, they're super flexy, and you can go around the corners and stuff with them, and you can't break them. I mean, you can put them in a vise and bend them all the way over. It won't hurt them. Like this one is just sweet right here, super thin. I mean, I don't know if you could tell how thin that is. And you know, when you're going around corners and panels and whatever, it makes it really nice. And I'll show you what I'm talking about with the panel. So like when you have a panel like this, you know, when you want to sand it this way, well, when you have a compound panel that's rounded, it's nice to have those Lucky Blocks where you can go around those panels this way and this way and this way, and then, you know, they flex the whole time when you're block sanding. And I am using right now, just to knock this stuff down, just because I'm in a hurry, it's P80, which is 3M 80 grit. And like I said, I'm using the Lucky Blocks. Excuse me. And I'm gonna blow this off real quick so I can show you. Crappy camera work, I know. So here's the deal. After you block sand it, each one of these, you know, I could prime this stuff and keep priming it. But the problem is I'll have a lot of coats of primer on here, and you're just wasting material. And you can see all the low spots or holidays. And holidays just means when you're, you know, sanding something, you can see another color, which is darker, which means the darker is the lower and the lighter is the high spots that I'm sanding off. And the real high spots are the bare metal, if that makes sense. So these right here are all low. And you can see there's just tons of low spots on here right now. And you kind of get the point. I mean, I'm going through and doing the whole panel pretty much, you know, everything. Oops, sorry about that. But anyways, you can see all the pencil marks on here. And what I'm getting at is I'm gonna mix up some putty and I'm gonna put in each one of these. Well, the thing is, it's by the time you mix up the putty, put it here and here and here and here and here and here, all these different spots, it's easier just to blast this whole panel. Just smash this thing with putty and sand it off on the floor. Yeah, then you are wasting material, but your time, it takes so much time to block sand each and every one of these pieces here, these low spots with putty. And when I say putty, I'm talking about Evercoat metal glaze. This is what I'm using. Really like this stuff. I use this for years and years and years. And I really like it because this stuff sands like butter. And you know, instead of hitting each spot with the metal glaze, I'll go through and do the whole damn panel. And I'll just put a light skim all the way on the panel and then come back through and block sand it with 80 and then block sand it after that with like 220, and then, you know, finer all the way down till I get like 600 grit, 1,000 grit, whatever you want to go to, until I'm ready to wet sand this thing with a block and I can't see any imperfections. When there's no imperfections at all, then I put the sealer on it and it's ready for paint. And I'll go ahead and get some putty mixed up. All right, so here's the deal, change of plans. So I started looking, and there's a couple spots that are, you know, you can fill them and they're pretty low. I mean, they're not low, but you know, they're in the primer, but it's enough where instead of using the putty, I'm gonna use the little bit thicker putty. And this is just a real lightweight stuff, and it's Maxifill Roberlo is the brand. And this stuff is killer. Sands, it's really, really easy, and it's super fast to mix up. It's kind of thicker than I like, but the thing is when you spread it, it spreads beautiful. And you know, all these imperfections like this, I'm gonna go ahead and just blast this whole deck lid and smash it out, because I was messing around right now hammering and stuff on this stuff because this kind of keeps wanting to pop up. But look how cheaply this is made back in '57. There's no bracing or nothing in there, you know? And then one of the things with the putty is it does chip a little bit easier than body filler. So I'm gonna go ahead and use body filler on this instead, so it's a little bit stronger. And then, like I said, I'll just putty this whole thing and then block it off once and then reprime it, and we'll see where we're at. So I'm gonna go ahead and get some of this stuff mixed up. All right, we're gonna crack this Roberlo open. I get this from Lake's Auto Body in Bemidji, almost said California, Bemidji, Minnesota. They're awesome people. And they deliver our supplies to the body shop. Now I'm gonna go ahead and waste a little bit of material here just so I don't have to do it again. I wanna do it once, be done with it. And you know, there might be some people that are like, oh, that's excessive and whatever. Well, whatever. It's not, because by the time I'm done, I'm gonna waste a lot less time by messing around with this and putting it on once and sanding it off once instead of doing it 15 times, you know? And this stuff is not like Bondo. It spreads easy. It's a little bit thicker, but it's more like the metal glaze putty. And the thing is it when you mix it, you don't have to like freak out and wait for it to set off. You know, you give it about a half hour and then it'll be set, ready to go. And while this stuff is setting up, I'll mess around with the roof on the car. And all I'm doing right now is I put the blue hardener in it. And then I'm gonna mix it up really good until I can't see any hardener anymore. There's still a lot of spots that need to be mixed up right now, so and that's the part really that it takes the longest, is to get this stuff, you know, mixed up really nice so you could spread it. And all I'm doing right now is kind of twisting it up, dropping it back into itself, and then kneading it like this. Kind of like doing bread, sourdough bread or something. Kind of even looks like it. I'll go ahead and get the camera turned around so you guys can see what the hell I'm doing. And then all I'm going to do is just spread the whole damn panel. And when I say the whole panel, I mean the whole panel. And you can't go fast with this stuff because all it does is if you go fast with it, it just kind of spreads out more and then it doesn't lay down or whatever. And then what I'll do is I'll spread it back and forth until I get it to where it's where I want it. And then as I get it where I want it, I'll go ahead and mix more and do it right next to this. And you can see like right now, I'm pulling some of it off the top, moving over, going to the next spot, taking it off the top, and then coming back to the next spot. And then by doing this, it'll have a nice consistency. So when you go to sand it, you don't have to work really hard. It's not spotted all over the place and all crappy looking. And then in this part right here where the hinges are, I'm gonna have to dig that out of there. I don't want that to be stuck in there where the hinges are, you know. Or any of the holes for the chrome. I'll have to get that out of there. But this deck lid's really messed up. And you know, a guy could spend weeks, days trying to fix it. And honestly, it's not worth it. It's easier to mud the whole thing like this, walk away from it, let it dry, sand it once, prime it, and then it's ready. Sorry about the heater kicking on right there. And you can still see like where the holes are. When the filler drops in the holes, you just gotta go back through there with like a little clean screwdriver, smooth it out, clean it up. No big deal. And then I'm out of putty right there, so I'll mix up another one and do the other half. And then this is just a super thin layer. It's only, you know, a 16th to an 1/8 inch thick on the whole panel. And then in some parts it'll be a little bit thicker, but then when you block sand it with a nice long block, and I'll use a block like this long, and then I'll block sand it with a Durablock first, and then I'll go back through with the Lucky Matte blocks and blast it off and smooth it out. So it should work out great. If I don't know if I'll end the video here, but if I block sand it and whatever, I might just show you guys what I'm doing. We'll see, depending on time. I'm gonna get some. I'm gonna get these crappy spots all cleaned up real quick. All the excess, and then see what happens. But anyways, I appreciate you guys watching. I don't know if I'll do another part on this video or just call it that from now. I might show sanding later. I don't know yet, but we'll see what happens. Thanks for watching. Later. So I got the heater right above this right now. I got the heater right here, so it's blowing nice warm air on this, and this stuff's already glazing. You can see it's already starting to turn like a soft yellow tan color. So it's setting off already. It'll be hardened up pretty soon. But one thing I wanted to say is I use brake clean, just O'Reilly's brake clean and some rags to clean up all the putty, you know, the screwdriver and the tools that I use to clean up the putty off of whatever. And then I throw my rags on the ground because I don't throw them in the garbage can because they'll catch on fire. But you know, when you're spraying brake clean right here, you have a heater with an open flame right here. And you also, you know, if you're gonna be spraying primer or something, don't forget you have an open flame right there. I always shut that heater off if we're in here doing something, so just gotta be careful, pay attention, you know. I might film some more in a bit after this dries up or whatever. I think it's about lunchtime. I'm gonna go eat something real quick, but we'll see what happens. All right, so in real time, it's been 4 minutes, and this stuff is set up nice. And then what I'll do is I'll go over it with like some 36 grit or whatever it is, just to knock the glaze, the sticky stuff off the top. And then after that, I'll sand it out with the 80 grit. And then down to 220 and then blah, 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 whatever. But as I sand this, then I'll start adding putty over on that side too. And then let it dry and then come back through and just blast the whole thing and then get it prepped and then re-prime it. And when I re-prime it, I'll hit the other parts of the other cars that I have in here, get them primed. All right, so what I did now is I took the Bondo hog or filler hog, whatever you want to call it. It's just an 8-inch dual orbital sander with a 36 grit. And I nailed this whole panel, just laid the Bondo hog on there flat as I could get it and ran back and forth on this panel. And now it's like glass. It feels really, really good. And then I took the Durablock and ran over it with 36 grit a bunch of times. And then I'm gonna go ahead and blast all that with the putty, get the filler on that side, let it dry, sand it, and then I'll block sand this whole panel and it'll be ready for primer. Done deal. And all that took me like less than a half hour because I just went to lunch and was messing around and then came back, sanded it real quick. I mean, it goes fast if you do it that way. And now, like I was saying earlier, is if you would have hit all these small parts where the pencil marks are, you're talking, you know, a half hour of sanding there, half hour there, half hour there. You know, it's just wasted time. Now look at all the material on the floor. You know, all that stuff that gets sanded off, that's that extra thickness that gets sanded off on the floor, but it's, you know, you're wasting a little bit of the cost of the putty, big deal, compared to, you know, wasting the hours. Yeah, it feels nice. And then a little bit more block sanding to do, but I'll go ahead and get that filled, and I don't know if I'll cut the video short here or if I'll keep filming. We'll see what happens. So this is where I'm at right now. Now I did all that, and there's only one little tiny spot. I don't know if you can see it right there. That's a low spot. And I don't see any more on here, so it looks pretty damn good. So it's ready for primer. So what I'll do is I'll put like 3 coats of filler primer on this next. I'll do that when I'm working on the car. And then I don't see any more. There's a couple little holidays right here, but that stuff will block out. I'm not worried about that. Or fill up with primer, you know. And I'll blast this with primer and then let it dry for a couple days, and then I'll block it one more time and see what it looks like. But that's about it. So, you know, by doing filling the whole panel like that, excuse me, by filling the whole panel like that, like I showed you, it's just way faster. Well, I'm gonna keep jamming on this thing, and I don't know if I'll cut the video off here or keep filming. I might just do one long video. We'll see what happens.